The House Intelligence Committee took on the issue of worldwide threats to U.S. national security in a hearing today. And there was quite a long list of threats covered, including al-Qaeda militants in Syria, Iran's nuclear capabilities, and even threats of China shooting down space satellites. But with the Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, on hand to testify, it was the so-called threat of Edward Snowden's NSA disclosures that stole the show and led to some hair-raising comments by members of Congress. It's Chairman Mike Rogers that has repeatedly made claims without evidence that Snowden is secretly working with the Russians. But at today's hearing, the witnesses on hand refused to confirm that accusation.
Do you believe that there's any indication that the NSA contractor who's now in Moscow might be under the influence of Russian intelligence services?
Chairman, I don't have any information to that effect.
Excuse me?
Later in the hearing, Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky asked for evidence of a Snowden-Russia connection. She was told that was best discussed in a classified hearing. Also during the hearing, Chairman Rogers suggested that journalists who are handling the Snowden documents are breaking the law, though he was unable to get the director of the FBI, James Comey, to agree with that assertion.
So if I'm a newspaper reporter for fill in the blank, and I sell stolen material, is that legal because I'm a newspaper reporter?
Right. If you're a newspaper reporter and you're hawking stolen jewelry, it's still a crime.
And if I'm hawking stolen classified material that I'm not legally in possession of for personal gain and profit, is that not a crime?
I think that's a harder question because it involves a news gathering function, could have First Amendment implications. That's something that probably be better answered by the Department of Justice.
The issue of targeted drone killings came up as well, with Representative Adam Schiff calling for an annual report detailing all drone strike deaths. The director of the CIA, John Brennan, called it a worthwhile recommendation. But back to the NSA, today's hearing comes a few weeks after President Obama laid out a series of NSA reforms, including changing Section 215 of the Patriot Act, which underpins the NSA's domestic phone spying program. And nearby in the House Judiciary Committee, another hearing was underway that specifically honed in on these issues. It was here that David Medine of the Privacy and Civil Liberties Oversight Board explained how this sort of surveillance restricts Americans' civil liberties.
We examined the privacy and civil liberties consequences of the program and found them serious because the program contains highly sensitive information. Citizens may be chilled in their associational rights in engaging with reporters or religious groups or political organizations, knowing that the government is collecting information about them.
And finally, we also learned from the hearing that members of Congress are having their own phone data swept up into the NSA's domestic phone spying program as well. But that came hardly as a surprise, since we know that virtually all Americans' phone data is collected by the NSA, according to the Snowden documents. Now, that's the latest coming from Capitol Hill. I'm Sam Sachs, RT.